about the exam. Your exam is 100 marks and you are expected to complete the exam in 3.5 hours. Right, what is it that is expected of you? You're going to download the question paper, use your answer book to answer the question paper, then go back and upload. The same way you do with your assignment. Those who wrote the exam during May, June, this is the procedure that we followed. Right. Unfortunately, this time we're not gonna give you the whole day as we did with May, June. This time you only have 3.5 hours to complete that exam. So it is important that you write and finish on time. Importantly, your exam should be uploaded. You don't have to send me an email. I know some of you will be trying to do that. I won't entertain any emailed exam scripts. Good. I want you to focus more on the issue of saving your file correctly. Most students will use their phones, take pictures, and want to send them as they are. Our system won't recognize such. So try and engage with other students, find out how do they do it, how do they upload, how do they save their assignments or exams. Try and learn, avoid problems during the exam time. Right, so importantly, focus there. Let's proceed. Read the questions carefully and ensure that you understand what is expected of you. Dear students, I want you to take this seriously. Students do fail exams, not because they don't know. They go to exams with answers, but come back with those answers. So what should you do? Ensure that you understand what the question expects of you. All right. The way you will answer the question, we want to see, did you understand the question? All right. Because at times you might not even know what the answer is, but the way you present your answers, you may end up convincing your marker that, oh, I know what I'm talking about, just because you understand what is expected of you. All right. Write neatly and legibly. You doing this, you're not trying to do anybody a favor. As a marker, I cannot mark something that I can't see. So if in case I can't see what you have written, I'll just put a cross and proceed. And remember, you're not the only student. There are many more students who we should still mark their scripts. So make sure that you write neatly and legibly. That is for your own benefit. Give your discussion in point form where possible. So make sure that you give your discussion in point form. This assists us when we mark, we see, okay, here is a point, let us credit, because if you give a discussion without showing the points, a point you may not see if you have given enough points. That is number one. And another point might get lost within that discussion. So in this case, I request you to stick to it, give your answers in point form. All right. Before I proceed, I should also mention that you are encouraged to interact with me in this lesson by asking questions. So ask questions, and at the end of this session, they will give me the questions so that I can clarify whatever concern that you might be having. Right. Number your questions accordingly. So make sure that you use the numbering system used in the question paper. Do not bring your own numbering system. Let's look at Google. This is a powerful tool if used correctly. I want to mention that most of the assignments, if you give yourself enough time and consult Google, you most likely to pass your exam, right, or assignment. But with exams, unfortunately, we ask questions so that it becomes difficult to Google them. But with the assignment, because we're trying to train you in understanding the work, if you use Google, Google will always assist you in answering your assignments. So don't take it lightly. You have got a smartphone which can assist you. So go on and make the best use of it. I've already indicated that your exam will be 3.5 hours long, and it will be 100 marks. Right. When you communicate with UNISA, or when you can communicate with me, avoid using your personal email. Right. I'm not saying if I receive your email where you used your personal email address, I'll ignore it. No, I won't do that. But your email can be blocked or go straight into others call it spam, or so avoid using your own personal email. Use your My Life email address. It is safe. With that one, we will always receive your email. All right. As I indicated, I'll give you feedback for assignment 2, and I'll only focus on theory because tomorrow I'll be focusing more on calculations. Still there, I want you to take note of our WhatsApp group where I'll be taking about a week to assist students who need assistance. So make sure that if you know you're gonna need help, join that WhatsApp group. I'll assist you there, because assisting you here, it is not possible to address each and every individual student's question. All right. So yeah, stick to that. Again, still there, as I mentioned that tomorrow I'll focus on calculations. I know calculations are always a challenge to most students. So hence I will always dedicate a week whereby I will be assisting you guys. How preparing for your exam? Yeah, this one is, I know a lot of students want to know what is the scope, you know. Let me share this with you. If you look at assignment number 1 and assignment number 2, right? Both semester 1 and semester 2. that is enough to prepare you for the forthcoming examination. So go through your assignment, especially assignment 2, in both semesters. So that should prepare you enough. Right. Let's go to your assignment. The first question was, when it is 8 a.m. in Joburg, it is 3 a.m. the same day in Tokyo, Japan. A flight leaves Otambo in Johannesburg at 7 a.m. on Tuesday for Narita in Tokyo. The flight takes 18 hours in the air with a 1-hour stopover, which is not included there. At what time will it arrive in Tokyo? This is a matter of doing your addition, so I'm not gonna waste much time on this one, but I want to show you what is expected of you. You need to indicate the time that it will arrive and also show it if it is South African time or Japanese time. So in this case, it is 9 a.m. on Wednesday. And you look at the ticks there, the 9, the a.m. and the Wednesday, we allocate 1 mark each day. So make sure that you present your answer exactly the same way so that you can get all the marks. The next question, explain the difference between concepts of mass and weight. Mass and weight. To explain this, we say mass of an object is a measure of an amount of matter that it contains, while the weight of an object is a measure of the force exerted on the object, right? Or force needed to support it. Most of you get it right, this one. What is the purpose of a thermostat? Most of you don't struggle with this one. The thermostat regulates the temperature of a system. 1.4, convert these units. Let me indicate to those who didn't get this right. If you go to your phone and Google 3840 cubic centimeters is equals to and say liter and put L there, you should get 3.84 liters. So I'm trying to say to you, this answer is there in your Google, but bear in mind in the exam, that is not what we want to know. We won't ask you what is 3840 cubic centimeters in liters. No, the question might be, how would you teach your learners the conversion from, say, cubic centimeters to cubic meters? So you need to understand what is it that is required to convert between the two. To convert 20, let's take 1.6 there. To convert 24500 cubic centimeters to cubic meters, what do? We divide 24500 by, remember to convert from centimeters to meters, you normally divide by 100. But because this time we converting cubic units, it means the 100 that you divide with should be cubed. So you say, I'm gonna divide 24500 by 100 cube, and that will give you 0.0245 cubic meters. Right, you do the same thing with converting 1.7, 1.8, 9, 10. All right. I'm not worried much for now about this because I'll discuss this again tomorrow. So for now, let us park this one. 2.1, explain how the formula of the volume of a rectangular prism can be developed. In other words, how can we derive the formula for volume? All right, you can choose any volume. It can be a rectangular prism, it can be a cylinder, but in this case, we've chosen a rectangular prism, and we say at primary level, we want learners to make sense out of the cubes. We use the cubes to assist our learners understand the idea of volume. So what do we do? We'll say, provide learners with cubes, as many cubes as possible, and ask them to build 6 different rectangular prisms. And here you may not, you may take, say, for an example, 4 different rectangular prisms. That should be enough for you to make your deduction there. So in this example, we took 6 prisms. After building those 6 prisms, we then ask learners to find out how many cubes make up the length, how many cubes make up the width, how many cubes make up the height, and what is the total number of cubes. From there, we then say, what is the volume, right? Remember, the volume will be made out of those cubes. So from there, out of this, we then come back and say, what is the relationship? Now ask the learners to make their own conclusions by comparing the total number of cubes for each rectangular prism and the volume. By the way, you're gonna say to find the volume, you ask them to multiply the length with the width. So after comparing, they should be able to see, okay, it means the number of cubes is the same as the volume there. So that at any time, if you want to calculate the volume, you will say my volume is equals to the length. We're talking about a rectangular prism here. It is equals to the length times breadth times perpendicular height. So multiplying the length times the width times the height will always give you the volume. So we have deduced that in order to calculate the volume, you can always multiply the 3. But in this case, we used the cubes. The learners are able to see that building the cubes, using cubes to build our prisms will lead us to calculating the volume of a prism. Right. Construct a special angle 45 degrees without using a protector. This question, if you type on YouTube, construct a special angle 45 degrees, you should be able to get videos which illustrate how can you draw this angle without using a calculator. And just drawing 45 degrees is not acceptable. You need to show these marks that we have indicated there. So it shows that you didn't use a protector as the question requested. So if you just draw 90 degrees and cross it and say that is my 45 degrees, you'll get 0. Right. But most importantly, as I indicated, Google this, go to YouTube and find a video which can show you how can you draw this angle. The same thing applies to 2.3. You can find the steps there. And something that I want us to know, a mistake that I see you committing here is trying to shorten your answer. This is an assignment. We assume you have got all the time to answer this question. So if you find say 20 steps, you don't have any excuse not to include all 20. So put them in there. Forget about the number of marks, because this is an assignment. So put as many steps as possible. So to construct 45 degrees, indeed, we can start by constructing 90 degrees and then use this 90 degrees to construct 45 degrees. That is, we all know half of 90 degrees is 45. But how do you get there? You must indicate step by step how would you use your compass to construct that 90 degrees. There are steps that I've indicated here. You don't have to worry much about these steps. By this weekend, you should receive your assignments, and feedback will be posted on my UNISA. So we'll get the feedback as soon as possible. How would you measure the volume of a stone? Again, to answer this question, we say take a large enough measuring beaker. Remember, immediately we say measuring beaker, it means it must have those marks which indicate here we are. This is this amount. This is which amount. Fill it to about halfway, right? And from there, record the measurement to say the amount of water inside this beaker is this amount. And this is the current volume of your water. Carefully insert stone into the water, right? The type equation there, that is a mistake. Carefully insert the stone inside the water. Read the new measurement of water level. Subtract the first from the second volume to calculate the volume of the stone. I guess that is clear. You use a beaker. That beaker should be clearly marked. You fill it with water, say halfway. Record that the amount of water in the beaker. Then immerse a stone inside the beaker. Take the measurement again, subtract the two. The difference is your volume of the stone. And please don't forget to ask your questions so that all your concerns. Now I'm having a problem. How? Oh, there you go. All right. Yeah, on Facebook. Yeah, the question should come to Facebook. I guess you are don't use WhatsApp, because I know you've got my WhatsApp. You've got our WhatsApp group. Don't use that one. I won't check it now. The next question, how would you measure the volume of a stove? How would you explain to a learner the difference between perimeter and area? Right. To explain the difference between the two, let's take a simple example of a rectangular prism. Right. And we say, in a rectangular prism, am I saying a rectangular prism? Yeah. In any rectangle, right? Here is a rectangle down there. The perimeter is the total length around this 2D object. So in short, in a two-dimensional object, to calculate its perimeter, you will say, what is the total distance around? That is 3 centimeters plus 2 centimeters plus 3 centimeters plus 2 centimeters. And all in all, it will give you 6 plus 4, which is 10. I know a lot of students don't struggle with this one. It is not difficult for them to explain that a perimeter is the total length around a 2D object. All right. And in this rectangle, as an example, it will be 3 centimeters plus, somebody may say times 2, which is 6, plus 2 centimeters multiplied by 2, which will give you 4, which is again 10 centimeters. And you may use this to develop a formula for perimeter of this rectangle, whereby you say the perimeter is equals to 2 multiplied by the length plus 2 multiplied by the width, which is the same as 2 into length plus the width, close the bracket. Those two are the same. Let's go to the area. Area is the space inside two-dimensional figure or object. And to find the area, in this case, we'll say the area is length times the width. All right, that is the space inside. So that is how the two differ. Okay. Temperature can be measured in a variety of units. What are the 3 most popular units in which temperature is measured in the world today? Number 1 is degree Celsius. Number 2 is degree Fahrenheit. Number 3 is Kelvin. These are the 3 units of temperature. The next question, on a cold winter's day in South Africa, it is -5 degrees Celsius. What is the temperature in degree Fahrenheit? We use this formula where we substitute our C with -5 there. From there, I advise that you use a calculator to go straight to the final answer. Remember, as long as you have substituted and went straight to the answer, you'll always get full marks. We won't penalize you for skipping this step. Right, and Let me also mention that we'll touch on this one again tomorrow. We'll touch on this one again tomorrow, so I'm not focusing much on it at the moment. I want us to talk theory. What are the 3 steps that can be followed when measuring objects? The answers to this question, you can find them on page 478 of your prescribed textbook. And the steps are: decide on the attribute to be measured, select a unit that has that attribute, compare the units by filling, covering, matching, or using some other method. All right. You can go to page 478, you'll find that. The next question is, what are the benefits of using standard units of measurement? Give 3 valid points. A lot of students gave answers to the benefits of using non-standard units, which is not correct. We're supposed to focus on standard units, not non-standard. All right. So for standard units, the benefits are better accuracy, better accuracy, easy to use, and it is more understandable. 3.3, discuss the role of estimation in the development of measurement concept. I'm pausing because I have arrived at one of the most powerful elements of measurement. In order for us to make our learners understand measurement, we need to teach them how to make the best estimation. Hence, in the exam, I'll not say discuss the role of estimation. The question that I can ask you in this case, I can say, for an example, give examples that you can use in your classroom on how to estimate, for an example, length, temperature, time, mass, area. So you need to be able to give examples which you will use in class with your learners to indicate the estimation of length. How are we gonna estimate? Say, you need to give examples there. All right. By the way, estimation will benefit us in this way. It helps learners to focus on the attributes being measured and develop an ideas of the units. Provides intrinsic motivation for measurement activities. And the use of benchmark to make an estimate promotes multiplicative reasoning. So as long as there is a benchmark, when you come with standard units, that is just a confirmation. And they also, on intrinsic motivation, learners will get motivated that, oh, I was not that far with my estimation. When standard units are used, estimation helps to develop familiarity with the unit. So learners will develop familiarity with the units. How can Piaget's readiness assist teacher in the teaching of measurement? I want to repeat this question. how can Paget's theory of readiness assist, most importantly, assist teacher? So how will it assist the teacher? That is the key to this question. So whatever that we give down there should be the benefits to the teacher, right? And we argue that Paget's theory of readiness, if applied, it serves as diagnostic assessment, and the teacher will be able to will be aware of whether the learners are ready to start new concepts. Because remember, with Paget's theory, what happens? We are able to see if the learner is ready. For an example, the concept of, say, volume. If, say, you've got this bottle and water at that level, you bring another bottle, a bigger bottle, you take this water, you put in that bigger bottle, you ask learners if they can see if the water is still the same. But in your case, you ask your learners, is the water still the same? If the learner says yes, then you know the learner is ready. But if the learner says no, it's not, no, the contents are, the volume is not the same, then you know this learner is not ready for the concept of volume. Let's move forward. 3.5, give 2 examples of testing learners' readiness of the concept of volume. Oh, I forgot that this question is there. I was busy answering this question. The first one, show the learners 2 balls of clay which have the same mass and which have the same volume, right? Let the learner be satisfied with himself that the balls have the same volume, right? Then take one of the balls of clay and roll it into a thin sausage, that is your second display, and ask the learner if the 2 pieces of clay have the same volume or if their volumes are different. And if the child answers, the lumps of clay have the same volume, you know that the learner has achieved the conservation of volume. And if the learner says no, then you know that the learner is not ready. All right, there are more examples that you can give, like the one of using 2 glasses. You can talk of 2 glasses where the other one is a little bit longer than the other one, but having the same volume. You fill up the first one, pour into the other glass, and ask learners if the two, if the volume is still the same. So if the learner says yes, then you know that the learner has mastered the conservation of volume. So look for more examples there. State what the instruments below are used for. Ellen Meyer flask, that is used for mixing or storing chemicals and solutions. Stethoscope, a medical instrument for listening to action of someone's heart or breathing, typically having a small disc-shaped resonator that is placed against the chest. Right, but this is more medical. Vernier caliper is used to measure the outer dimensions of an object using the main jaws and the inside dimensions using the smaller jaws. And depths you can also use to find out the depth there. Right. Convert radians to degrees. This question was not marked because the pi there, the question was supposed to be convert pi radians into degrees, but somehow because our tutorial letter goes through steps, so I guess in one of the steps where they ensure quality, it was removed accidentally. So I thought it is advisable to remove this question. All right, what is the relationship between the arc length of a sector and the angle at the center of the circle? Illustrate the answer. Each time you hear a question saying, what is the relationship between? You need to think if the two attributes or phenomena can be related using a formula. If that is the case, then it means you need to prove that particular formula. All right? In order for us to illustrate the relationship between arc length of a sector, the angle of the center of the circle, and the radius, we need to remind ourselves the formula that connects them. That means we need to derive the formula. We therefore use the knowledge of ratios. Here is alongside, there is a circle there with a sector, right? We have the angle of the sector there, which is theta. And then the arc length there given by S, colored red. And the radius there. So if we use the knowledge of ratios, we know that because this is one circle, this angle and this and the whole angle there are in proportion. And again, the arc length S there and the whole circumference there are in the same proportion. So if they are in the same proportion, it means we can equate them. Hence, we have the sector angle, that is theta there, over full circle angle, that is the angle of the whole circle, is equals to the arc length, which is S there, over the circumference. Remember, the circumference is the length of the whole circle. So with that in mind, we can use the radians or we can use the degree. All right, let's start with the radians. The angle of the sector angle is theta over the full circle angle, which is the whole angle there. Is how many degrees? That is 360 degrees. But in our case, we're talking 2 pi because we are converting all angles to radians. So it is theta over 2 pi, which is equals to the circumference again, the arc length, which is S over, the arc length is S over the circumference, which is the length of the whole circle. So hence we have S over 2 pi r. The circumference formula to calculate the circumference is 2 pi r. So from there, S is equals to 2 pi r theta all over 2 theta. What have we done there? This is just playing with mathematics, cross multiplying. So if you cross multiply there, you're looking for this S there. For you to find that S, it means you need to multiply both sides by what is dividing the S, which is 2 pi r. So if you multiply both sides by 2 pi r, you will remain with 2 pi r multiplied by theta over 2 theta. And therefore, our arc length is equals to the radius multiplied by theta. So in short, we were supposed to derive the formula for the arc length. So that is that. This formula can also be derived using degrees. I know a lot of us like this one. We'll talk about this tomorrow. In degrees, that is what happens. So it is the same thing basically, but this time we're using degrees. Good. We go into question 5 because we're skipping question 4. Remember I said we'll address calculations tomorrow. So we're skipping question 4. What is the difference between London and New York? I know we have our tutorial letters there. So the difference in time there is 5 hours. And what will it be in Paris if it is 13:45 in New York? And please get those questions coming. We are about to end. This is the last 2 questions. So send your questions so that we can see if we cannot assist you. What time will it be in Paris if it is 13:45 in New York? You were supposed to say there 19:45. The next question, very much important. Discuss the problems that learners could experience with the reading of time zones. Give at least 4 points. Let me repeat this question. Discuss the problems that learners could experience with the reading of time zones. Importantly, time zones. So whatever that we say should involve time zones. Give at least 4 points. So if you do not mention, if your problem does not involve time zones, it therefore means you haven't answered the question, because we want problems concerning time zones strictly. You give something else, you get 0. Right. Number one there, when adding and subtracting time zones, students may be challenged by any interval that spans the change from AM to PM. Reading time zones backwards. Reading hours between two time zones. Interpreting which zone is ahead of the other. So here you had to talk about time zones. Finish and clear. Without time zones, unfortunately, you haven't addressed the question. That is that. Um, I'm going to await any question that you might have asked. Let's see if there is any question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ngoveni. We only have one question at this stage. And the question is what I would term a traditional question, given that we have started exams online.
Yeah.
So students are merely asking uh, if the system crashes, if the system crashes at the time of submission, will they be afforded an opportunity to submit via email or later or other methods? That's the primary question. But secondly, I noticed that in your presentation, you made mention of a WhatsApp contact number, WhatsApp group that students can join. I think it's appropriate that maybe you share on this platform how students can be able to join that particular group. Yeah, so for now, traditional question, and then also to have room for further engagement directly with yourself. And also, I want to mention to students that yes, the session is currently running live. However, despite it discontinuing at the end, the content of this video will remain on. So students are indeed encouraged to continue posting the questions and comments on this particular video record. And then we will frequently ensure that you get hold of these and you also will be able to respond. So that's the traditional question and then the WhatsApp platform. Thank you, sir.
The WhatsApp group, the link is available on our discussion forum. If you can't find it there, you are always welcome to send me an email. I don't want to share my number now here, yeah, for security reasons. So please drop me an email. I'll send you the link. The second question, that is for system crashing. Yeah. Basically, what we normally do, we provide you with a link which will never crash. So surely you should be able to submit. As long as you can download the question paper, do not worry much about submission. As long as you finish on time, just don't wait for the last minute, because uh, that is what our students will do. They will wait for the last few minutes, then they want to submit. That is where the problem may come. But basically, we'll give you a link where you can use, which you can use to submit, but forget about submission via email. That one is not going to happen for safety reasons.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ngoveni. So students, this is a wrap from our side. Please note that we will be hosting more exam preparation lectures of this nature. And we encourage you to take note of two primary platforms. The first is the Facebook page, which is TPTube for SEDU. Please like that page so that as and when there are notifications, you are able to receive those. Secondly, linked to Facebook, that is the UNISA College of Education page. We will consistently ensure that we have this live stream on this particular platform as well. Then, as with regard to Facebook, come YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, UNISA TP-Tube. You search UNISA TP-Tube, and please, on that platform, click the subscribe button and also click on the bell, so that as and when there are new uploads and live sessions and recorded sessions, that you are able to access these. This is in the interest of maximizing student support and to ensure that our students receive as much preparation as necessary from our part under the COVID conditions. So the new normal it is, and I'd like to thank you all. Remember to leave your questions and comments on the chat sections, both on the platforms listed. And we will see you very soon once more. Thank you very much.